Well, religious liberty is in crisis here in the United States and around the world. So what can be done to stop this unprecedented assault on freedom? Judge Ken Starr is sounding the alarm for people of faith to stand up and fight.
From the beginning, our founding fathers put religious freedom at the forefront of the nation. The First Amendment to the Constitution explicitly protects freedom of speech, assembly, and worship. Yet for more than 50 years, those freedoms have eroded under a barrage of decisions by the courts, the executive branch, and even Congress. Today, state governors shutter churches while Christian bakers and others fight for their livelihoods in court. The nation that exported the idea of religious freedom around the world is now itself under assault from inside. Why did it come to this, and what is the solution? One of America's top legal scholars, Judge Ken Starr, takes on those questions in his new book, Religious Liberty in Crisis: Exercising Your Faith in an Age of Uncertainty.
Well, Judge Ken Starr joins us now from Waco, Texas. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's so good to be with you.
Well, you were releasing this book in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and this pandemic has definitely underlined what's at stake here with governments and in particular governors trying to shut down public worship gatherings. How far do you think we're going to go in this type of overreach, and what defenses do churches have right now?
Yeah, and that's the good news. It's really up to the governors, to Governor Cuomo and Gavin Newsom, in some of the states where religious liberty is not, I'm just going to say it, taken as seriously, sometimes even derided, right, as a mask for discrimination. But here's the good news. When we get these cases up to the Supreme Court of the United States, there are great principles of liberty that undergird our entire constitutional structure, but especially making this the sweet land of liberty that it is. But it's not as if we all just sing to one another, kumbaya, everything is great. No, we have to be vigilant and we have to fight the great principles of liberty, which I've described in this book, which I hope will be a tool for everyone, for every American of faith, or even those not of faith but who believe in our culture of freedom. They can use this book, I believe, to give a reason for the hope that should be within us all, which is this is our first freedom. And those of us, particularly of faith, should be able to give an account of ourselves that's persuasive and winsome in the marketplace of ideas, so that we don't just say, it's my opinion, or I have a different view. No, here are the principles that are grounded in our Constitution and supported by the case law. So, final point on the pandemic, guess what? The Supreme Court, shaky start, but has ridden to the rescue. Now, the church closure cases are all going in the direction of religious freedom and the freedom to worship.
Well, let's talk about prayer. Let's talk about a case that didn't make it to the Supreme Court, and it was out of the Ninth Circuit, where a football coach just wanted to kneel in prayer after a game. He wanted to do that on his own. He made a vow that he would do that regardless of the outcome, he wanted to pray after the game. When the school found out about it, they shut it down. And then, curiously, I thought this was a slam dunk. The Ninth Circuit said, no, the school's right. You don't have a right to pray. And then the Supreme Court didn't take the case. I'm puzzled why. Do you have an answer to that?
It's inscrutable. Why didn't the court take that case? Coach Kennedy's case cried out for restoration of his rights. So the court does not always take these cases. In fact, we had to wait patiently for the court to really get, as if I may say so, its act together on church closure. But overwhelmingly, the court will step in, maybe not as quickly as we want, not in every case that we want, and will say, we are going to strike yet another blow in favor of religious liberty, including at times, and this is very good news, unanimously in favor of religious liberty.
Well, let's talk about the Colorado baker. And here's another curious one where the Supreme Court took it, ruled in his favor, ruled that he had a free speech right, that his cake decorations didn't have to go against his religious beliefs. But then, curiously, the same commission that was fined him the first time found another case and somebody else that wanted a cake, and he's back at it all over again. Is there any remedy for him? It seems like the government is being remarkably oppressive and targeting him.
There's no question that the Colorado Civil Rights Commission, in that particular case, went way over the line in its enforcement of the public accommodations law. And this, in fact, is one of our key issues now, and that's freedom of conscience. That's one of the great principles. Historically, in the United States of America, in this sweet land of liberty, we have been deeply respectful of acts of conscience, freedom of conscience. And the way the Colorado Commission treated Jack Phillips of Masterpiece Cake Shop was shameful. Happily, they were condemned by the Supreme Court of the United States. But yes, he's had to continue the battle. Here's some good news. It's not great good news, but the Colorado Civil Rights Commission did begin another case, but then they dismissed that case. What Jack is now facing is a civil lawsuit. So God bless him. He's got a new book coming out. Everyone should read that book when it comes out, because it tells, I did a review of it, it tells a story of faith. We have not been promised an easy ride, right? And I think this generation, our time, this, for such a time as this, we have to equip ourselves for this battle that is underway. And again, as I say, to give a reason for the hope of freedom that is within us. We have the tools, and we can win. There will be setbacks, but we can win. We have been winning, and thanks, as you know, to organizations, including at Regent University, the Center for Constitutional Law that's been established quite recently, the Robertson Center. I'm so proud of what Regent University has done. Alliance Defending Freedom, First Liberty in Dallas, the Beckett Fund. There are many friends of freedom. We can stand up and be heard and to take our challenges all the way to the Supreme Court. I say, let's follow the example of the Apostle Paul in the book of Acts. He knew how to mount an appeal. He knew how to defend himself, and then to say when things weren't going well, I appeal to the Supreme Court, namely Caesar. We need to take our example now from what the Bible teaches, which is we do have human dignity. We have basic freedom. For freedom, Christ has made us free. And so, but we've got to stand up for that freedom, as opposed to saying, well, the culture is against us, and so what can we do? We can act, and first we need to equip ourselves for the battle, the nonviolent battle that is underway with respect to our culture.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the book. I encourage everyone to get it. It's called Religious Liberty in Crisis. If you want to get informed on what your rights are, what is the case law, and make yourself a lawyer. Just be like St. Paul. Let's get educated on what the law is, what are the limits of government, and how you can stand for your religious liberty. It's available wherever books are.